Which one would you rather? I find Air New Zealand's domestic service interesting. Although they don't have a complete monopoly due to carriers such as Jetstar, chances are if you're flying within New Zealand, you're flying Air New Zealand. Fares are affordable and flexible, and more similar to taking the bus than taking a flight. Air New Zealand's domestic fleet is primarily split between jet-powered A320s and propeller-driven AR-72s. Air New Zealand has recently doubled down on its propeller fleet. Which one is better? Fortunately, I got to fly both products on a recent trip to New Zealand. Starting in Auckland, I transferred from the international terminal to domestic for an A320 flight to Queenstown. Air New Zealand doesn't have a domestic first or business class product, it's all economy. Instead, access to the lounge is derived by membership or frequent flyer status. However, as I had a connecting international business class ticket, they let me in. The lounge was packed, so I couldn't film much, but in general was on par with an Admiral's Club in the United States. One neat feature was a barista station, where you could order drinks on your phone using an app. The smoothies were also particularly good. Boarding is a casual affair, and I only made my way to the gate about 30 minutes prior to departure. Everyone boarded simultaneously after the elites did, though only the first half of the plane got to board using the jet bridge. As I was sitting towards the back, I descended the stairs, crossed the tarmac, then boarded via the rear stairs. The cabin is organized in the standard 3-3 layout. The seats were firm but well padded, and legroom incredibly generous. There's a standard tray and no seatback video, though there is an in-flight magazine. The flight was just under an hour and 45 minutes, but we went all the way up to 34,000 feet. Service was comprised of tea or coffee and a ginger cookie, which was from New Zealand and tasty. Alcohol was only served on later flights. Although there was no video entertainment, the signature feature of the service was definitely the quiz on the overhead monitors. The views of the South Island were beautiful, especially as we passed Mount Cook and came into land in Queenstown. My next flight was from Dunedin to Christchurch. Dunedin Airport is tiny, with only Air New Zealand and Jetstar service. I noticed there was no security on the way to the gate area, and it turns out there was no security at all. You just walk onto the plane. Ah, the good old days. The AR-72 had a quick turnaround, and soon after the prior flight deplaned, we boarded and were off. Most folks preferred to sit near the back, further from the engines. However, I wanted the full experience by God, and so I sat right next to the engines. The AR-72 cabin is laid out in a 2-2 configuration, which is good in that it eliminates the middle seats. However, the overhead bins were tiny, forcing my backpack under the seat. There was also a bar in the footwell, which made things slightly uncomfortable. The flight was just about 50 minutes at 17,000 feet, so service was rather limited. The first course was a bottle of water, followed by tea or coffee with a piece of cloyingly sweet fudge. Service concluded with the distribution of a mint. Shortly after service concluded, we descended into Christchurch. So regarding the two options for Air New Zealand, I definitely suggest taking a jet so one can be entertained with a quiz, and maybe you'll even learn something. But in all seriousness, both are fine. The flights are so short you hardly notice, though I'd recommend noise-canceling headphones for the AR-72. At least if you're crazy enough to sit by the propellers, as I was. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.